got your back this morning. If your child is off to the prom anytime soon, of course, parents want the big night to be a memorable one, but only for the right reasons. Joining us this morning is Dr. Amy Alamar, a family and education expert, with some prom night safety tips, just how to talk to your kids about this, because I know it can be really awkward. Thank you so much for being here.
For having me.
So, first off, let's talk about drinking, drugs. These are things that obviously teenagers can experiment with or have been known to. How do you first off talk about it with them, particularly on prom night, if you haven't done so already?
Yeah, and that's a great point, because the earlier you can start with your kids, the better. Even elementary is a good time to start these conversations to get a foundation. But for those parents who haven't yet, it's not too late, and you want to be really open and honest with your kids. Be real expectations and values are, and try to refrain from judging and have more of a conversation with them, because this will help them come to you to have these conversations.
How do you approach it so that it doesn't sound like you're nagging?
Yeah, and you might nag, and that's okay, but try to be open about it. When I say open and honest, you don't have to overshare. Really listening and asking open-ended questions and making your kids feel comfortable about the conversation. You can also find a trusted adult that you let them know they're the trusted adult for your kid, and they can have the conversation too if your kid isn't comfortable to come to you.
I know a lot of kids experiment really young, 12, 13. You want to start the conversation then, so are these kind of reminders at this point?
Yeah, and it should be an ongoing conversation. You want your kids to know, this is my expectation of you. You stakes, and that's your job. As a teenager, you need to make some judgment calls. There will be good and bad judgments, and I'm here to have your back, but I'm also here to remind you how to stay, on the right track. And so when they come to you, you give yourself a pat on the back, and you're really proud that they came to you. And when they don't come to you, you catch them, and you have a deeper conversation. And don't be afraid to use consequences. Just make sure they're logical, and it's not all about that.
How do you do it without kind of scaring them too? Or do you want to scare them?
Well, there are some real scary things that can happen.
Sure.
And I think, talking to them about the realities, and even, what do you think might happen? What could happen? And doing some role playing and really asking them, but also really rewarding them for when they do come to you to have those conversations. Make sure they know they can call you if they are drunk, if they are high, if they've made a really poor choice and they're in trouble. They can always call on you, and you will come and you will get them, and you will not get into it right then.
Just let them know that they can call you.
Yeah.
Obviously, sex can be a concern too for parents, but I take it you should talk to them a lot earlier than prom night. You should have that birds and bees conversation, as awkward as it is, I'm sure, for parents.
It is so awkward, and ideally you are having it from very early on, and you say, this is really hard. This is not comfortable for me or for you, but we're going to have this conversation, and you can come to me, and these other people that we've identified that you can go to. Your pediatrician is a great resource. Your friends of the family, aunts, uncles, so that they know they can have it, and you talk about your expectations and your hopes for them, more about judging what they're actually doing.
I like that. Punt it to aunt and uncle and the doctor. Thank you so much, Dr. Amy Alamar.
My pleasure.
Always good information.